Hello friends, what if manifesting your best life isn't magic at all, but alignment? What if your zodiac sign is a user manual you never finished reading? Today, we're going sign by sign to turn vague wishes into vivid results, because clarity plus small daily moves beats, cross your fingers, every time. Ready to make the universe your accountability buddy? Aries, March 21st to April 19th. What happens when pure momentum meets a clear target? For Aries, that's not just a question, it's a way of life. You are the very first sign of the zodiac, the spark that lights the fire, the fearless pioneer who doesn't wait for permission. Manifestation for you isn't about waiting for signs, endless journaling, or waiting until everything feels perfect. No, Aries, your best life comes when you throw yourself into the unknown, because your courage is your magnet. You don't manifest by dreaming quietly, you manifest by acting loudly. Start by declaring your intention in one clear, bold sentence. Not a paragraph, not a novel, not an essay. Just one sharp, powerful statement. Something like, I am building a life where courage feels normal. This single sentence works as your compass. When doubt shows up, and it will, your compass resets you. If you can't define it in one sentence, you don't yet own it. So distill your vision into the simplest possible form, and watch how quickly it takes root. But here's the twist. An intention without immediate movement for Aries is like a flame without oxygen, it dies out. You must act within 24 hours. That action doesn't have to be monumental. In fact, it shouldn't be. It could be sending that email that's been haunting you, finally signing up for that class you've been eyeing, or making the phone call you've postponed for months. The point isn't what the action is, the point is that it's done. For Aries, momentum isn't optional, it's your life force. Traditional manifestation tools like vision boards can feel too slow, too abstract, too dreamy for your fiery nature. That's why the 3-2-1 launch list is your secret weapon. 3 actions you can do in 10 minutes each. 2 people you'll tell, because your fire grows stronger when shared. And 1 firm deadline to lock it in. This structure channels your impulsive energy into focused action, creating a rhythm that feels both spontaneous and intentional. Now, let's talk about your kryptonite, burnout. Your fire burns hot, and when you forget to rest, you crash hard. That's why recovery must be scheduled with the same intensity as your hustle. Set timers for breaks. Yes, an actual timer. When the alarm goes off, you step away, stretch, breathe, hydrate. Treat recovery not as a weakness but as a discipline. A rested Aries is unstoppable. A burned out Aries loses the magic. Manifestation for you isn't a still practice, it's a moving prayer. Each step you take sends a signal to the universe. I'm ready. I'm serious. I'm alive. The affirmation that unlocks everything is, my first step makes the path appear. Because that's the truth. For Aries, the path doesn't exist until you walk it. The universe waits for your signal, and the moment you leap, the ground forms beneath your feet. Your fire is pure creation. When you move, the world reshapes itself around you. And now, a little side note. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a thanks button right under this video. Your support truly helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let's continue. Taurus, April 20th to May 20th. What if luxury was never about money, never about expensive things, never about labels, but about the art of feeling secure, comfortable, and deeply satisfied in your own skin? For Taurus, manifestation begins not with grand gestures, but with the quiet beauty of the everyday. You are ruled by Venus, the planet of love and pleasure, which means your superpower is creating stability that feels good. To you, manifestation isn't some lofty dream. It's about building a life that is both practical and pleasurable, a life you can touch, taste, smell, and hear. Start with the senses. Your body is your compass, and when you honor it, abundance flows. Light a candle with a scent that calms you, something earthy or grounding, like sandalwood, rose, or cedar. Build a playlist that makes you feel like you're already living the life you want. A mix of songs that feel abundant, sensual, and steady. Then choose a physical space, even if it's just one corner of your home, and turn it into a sanctuary. This is not just decor. This is a portal. Every time you step into this space, you are signaling to your subconscious, this is my future, this is my abundance, this is the life I'm creating. Morning rituals matter deeply for you. While other signs may skip around, you thrive on repetition. That's why scripting works wonders for your manifestation. Write a simple sentence, like, I am worthy of stability, I am safe to grow, I attract what supports me. Read it aloud every morning while sipping something warm. Don't rush. The warmth of the cup, the sound of your voice, the slowness of the ritual, these are anchors that tie your desires into your reality. And when you feel blocked, don't try to overhaul your entire life. That will only make you resist. Instead, start small. Declutter one stubborn space, a drawer, a shelf, a pile of papers. When you clear physical clutter, you clear energetic clutter. For Taurus, physical and spiritual are always linked. As you make space in your home, you make space in your life for abundance to flow in. Now, here's one of your most powerful tools, the slow and steady jar. Each time something good happens, no matter how small, saving $5, finishing a task, receiving a compliment, negotiating your worth, write it down on a slip of paper and drop it in the jar. Over weeks and months, this jar becomes a living record of your progress. On days when you doubt yourself, open the jar and read. It reminds you that manifestation isn't about sudden miracles, it's about consistent steps, steady progress, and small wins that add up to something monumental. Taurus doesn't need to chase. Chasing goes against your nature. You are the sign that attracts by being grounded, calm, and magnetic. You manifest by showing up consistently, by honoring your body, and by enjoying the process rather than rushing toward the result. Your life is built like a garden, roots first, blossoms second. You plant the seeds, water them daily, and trust that nature takes care of the rest. Your affirmation is this: I build steadily, and my life holds me back. It's a reminder that stability is not boring, it's powerful. It's a foundation that will never crumble. You don't need quick fixes or sudden flashes of inspiration. You need consistency, beauty, and patience. And when you align with that, Taurus, abundance becomes not just a goal, it becomes inevitable. Gemini, May 21st to June 20th. How do you manifest when your brain is a browser with 47 tabs open at once, each one flashing, buzzing, competing for attention? The truth is, Gemini, this isn't a weakness. This is your secret weapon. Your mind doesn't operate in straight lines, it operates like constellations, connecting stars that others can't even see. Manifestation for you isn't about silencing the noise. It's about using the noise, weaving the chaos into clarity, and finding the melody inside the static. The first step is structure, not rigid rules, but playful frameworks that let your brilliance breathe. Draft a 2-column clarity sheet. On the left side, write, things I want. Don't censor yourself. Write down every dream, every half-formed idea, every little whisper of desire. On the right side, write, one message I'll share. This is where the magic happens. Out of all those dreams, you must distill the essence. What's the single core message that ties them together? It might be, I want freedom. Or, I want to create beauty. Or, I want to help people feel understood. Suddenly, the chaos of 47 tabs organizes itself around one central mission. But writing it down isn't enough. Gemini energy thrives on words spoken aloud, because your voice carries spells. Speak your desires out loud. Record voice notes, talk to yourself in the car, teach a friend what you're calling in. Teaching locks it in, because the moment you explain it to another person, you create accountability, you create clarity, and you weave your intention into the collective consciousness. Of course, overwhelm is your constant dance partner. With so many ideas, you often freeze instead of flow. That's why the solution is radical simplicity. Pick one platform, one format, one style of expression, and commit to it for 30 days. Just one. If it's writing, commit to one blog post or one page a day. If it's video, post one short clip daily. If it's conversation, choose one person to update every evening. The format doesn't matter. What matters is consistency. The Gemini gift is iteration. You don't need to be perfect on the first try, because each version teaches you something new. Over time, your message sharpens like a diamond. Manifestation for you is not about holding still. It's about movement, curiosity, adaptation. Each conversation, each piece of content, each thought shared becomes a doorway. And here's the truth: your words don't just describe your reality. Your words create your reality. That's why your affirmation is, "My words open doors, and I walk through them." Every sentence you speak, every idea you share, every note you record is an invitation to the universe to respond. Talk it into being, Gemini. Don't just whisper it once and hide it. Keep the conversation alive, because your magic is not in silence, it's in sound. Cancer, June 21st to July 22nd. What if home, both the one you live in and the one inside your chest, isn't just a backdrop to your manifestation practice, but the actual engine that fuels it? For Cancer, the most intuitive and nurturing of the zodiac, manifestation begins with safety. Not safety in the sense of playing small, but safety in the sense of creating a solid container where your spirit feels protected enough to grow. If Aries lights the fire and Gemini spreads the word, you, Cancer, build the nest where dreams can be born and cared for until they're strong enough to fly. Start with a comfort ritual. This isn't about luxury, it's about grounding. Light a candle, place your hand on your heart, and ask yourself, what would make me feel safe enough to expand today? Don't rush the answer, let it rise from within. Maybe it's setting a boundary at work. Maybe it's asking for help. Maybe it's clearing one corner of your home. Once the answer comes, journal it. Don't just think it, write it. Then, take one practical action that protects that sense of safety. That might mean saying no to something that drains you, or yes to something that nurtures you. Every small boundary is an act of manifestation, because it tells the universe, I am worthy of protection. I am worthy of space. Water is your element, and it's also your cleansing tool. Manifestation for Cancer often requires release before receiving. That's why a water cleanse is so powerful. And no, it doesn't have to be the ocean or a fancy spa ritual, your shower counts. When you step under the water, imagine all the heavy energy, the doubts, the fears that aren't even yours, washing away. Let the water carry them down the drain. When you step out, you're not just clean in body, you're clean in energy. Another key practice for you is the nurture budget. Unlike other signs, you can sometimes give endlessly to others while neglecting yourself. That's why you need to deliberately set aside resources, time, energy, or money, specifically for nurturing yourself. Maybe it's a massage, maybe it's a new journal, maybe it's an afternoon nap. The important part isn't how you spend it, the important part is that you spend it without guilt. Because when you care for yourself, your energy multiplies, and you manifest from a place of fullness instead of emptiness. Cancer, your power lies in your ability to create emotional and physical environments where life can flourish. For you, manifestation isn't about pushing or forcing. It's about cultivating. It's about creating such deep safety that your soul feels brave enough to bloom. That's why your affirmation is, when I care for me, my life cares for me back. Safety is not a luxury for you, it's your launch pad. When you protect your heart, when you honor your need for rest, when you nurture yourself with the same devotion you give to others, the universe responds by opening doors you didn't even know existed. Because the truth is, Cancer, when you feel at home within yourself, everything else falls into place. Leo, July 23rd to August 22nd. What if visibility is the spell? For Leo, this isn't just a metaphor, it's your sacred truth. You are ruled by the sun, the source of all light and energy in our solar system. Just as the sun does not apologize for rising each day, you, Leo, are not meant to apologize for being seen. Your life's work is to shine so brightly that you illuminate the path for others, not by dimming yourself to make them comfortable, but by showing them what courage looks like when it stands in its full radiance. Manifestation for you begins with visibility, because being seen isn't vanity, it's destiny. So name the thing you want to be known for. Don't keep it in your head, don't scribble it in a secret notebook that no one will ever read. Speak it out loud. Twice. The first time you say it, it sounds like an intention. The second time, it becomes a declaration. And each time after that, it becomes a promise to yourself and a message to the universe. If you want to be known as an artist, say it. If you want to be known as a leader, say it. If you want to be known as someone who heals others, say it. Words are spells, and when you give voice to your truth, you call it into existence. But naming it isn't enough. You must practice visibility daily, even if it's small. That's where the 10-second spotlight comes in. Every single day, give yourself 10 seconds to be seen. Share a tip on social media. Post a small win. Record a quick story. Show a piece of your process. 10 seconds may feel like nothing, but repeated daily, it builds a rhythm that trains both you and your audience to expect your light. The truth is, perfection is optional, presence is not. People don't need flawless. They need you, real, raw, radiant. Of course, doubt will come knocking. Doubt is the shadow that always tries to follow the sun. When it barges in, fight back with your private praise file. This is not about ego, it's about memory. Create a folder on your phone, or a notebook by your bed, where you collect compliments, screenshots of kind messages, notes of gratitude, reminders of the times you succeeded. On days when you forget who you are, open that file. Let it remind you of the impact you've already made. It is evidence of your light. And here's the key: never starve your own sun. Before you tackle any serious work, feed it with 5 minutes of shameless joy. Sing in the mirror, dance to a ridiculous song, laugh at your own joke, wear something that makes you feel magnetic. Play is not a distraction for you, it's fuel. When your inner child feels alive, your adult self becomes unstoppable. Leo, manifestation for you is not about hiding in the shadows waiting for permission. It's about standing on the stage of your own life and owning the spotlight, not because you crave attention for attention's sake, but because your visibility is medicine. Your light shows others that they too can shine. That's why your affirmation is, "When I shine, I invite abundance and uplift others." Remember, your light isn't extra, it's guidance. You're not just the flame, you're the torchbearer. When you allow yourself to be seen, you give permission for the entire world to glow. Virgo, August 23rd to September 22nd. What if precision is your superpower, not your prison? Virgo, you are the architect of the Zodiac, the meticulous builder who knows that miracles don't come from chaos, but from order, consistency, and structure. You see details where others see fog, and you can break down the impossible into steps so small they suddenly become possible. But too often, you mistake this gift for a curse. You let your perfectionism trap you in endless cycles of planning, fixing, editing, and waiting for the perfect moment. The truth is, Virgo, the perfect moment never arrives. Your magic comes when you realize that precision is not about paralysis, it's about power. Manifestation begins when you pick one goal. Just one, not 5, not 10, not the entire list that fills up pages in your notebook. Focus on a single dream, because your energy multiplies when it's directed, and it scatters when it's spread too thin. Once you have your goal, break it down into micro moves. Ask yourself, what is one step I can take in 15 minutes that moves this forward? 15 minutes is the sweet spot, long enough to create progress, short enough to dodge overwhelm. Now, stack your rituals. You thrive in sequence, so build a chain of actions that flow into one another. It might look like this. Set your intention out loud, tidy your space for 5 minutes, take action on your goal, then track what you did. This ritual stack is simple, repeatable, grounding. Over time, it becomes second nature, a rhythm that pulls you forward even when motivation is low. Motivation is fleeting, systems are eternal. That's why your next step is to build a repeatable checklist. Not a to-do list that changes every day, but a checklist that becomes your foundation. For example, set intention, clear space, take one micro action, reflect, log progress. This checklist replaces the need to feel inspired, because you don't need inspiration to follow a system. You just need discipline, and discipline, Virgo, is your native language. But here's the challenge: perfectionism. It whispers in your ear, it's not ready. It's not good enough, wait until it's flawless. That voice is your prison. When it comes, ask yourself the liberating question: what's the 80% that ships? Because 80% completed and shared will always outperform 100% trapped in drafts. Shipping something imperfect is how you manifest momentum. And momentum is the bridge between thought and reality. Virgo, you manifest not through bursts of chaos, but through calm repetition. Every checklist you complete, every system you design, every micro-action you take stacks into something extraordinary. That's why your affirmation is: small, clean steps create big, calm wins. This isn't just a mantra, it's the truth of your life. Your magic isn't in chasing miracles. Your magic is in building them, brick by brick, routine by routine, until suddenly the structure of your dreams is standing before you. You don't just manifest, you engineer your best life. And when your systems align with your soul, miracles stop being accidents. They become scheduled. Libra, September 23rd to October 22nd. What if harmony is the strategy, not the reward? For Libra, this question is the heart of manifestation. You are ruled by Venus, the planet of love, art, and beauty, which means you are wired to create balance, not just enjoy it when it happens. Most people think harmony is something you stumble upon after the work is done, a prize you receive at the finish line. But for you, Libra, harmony is not the destination, it's the vehicle that carries you there. When you align yourself with balance from the beginning, everything you create radiates equilibrium. To manifest your best life, you must begin by defining your desire. Don't settle for vague wishes like, I want success, or, I want love. Go deeper. What exactly do you want, and why? Once you've clarified your desire, ask the most Libra question of all. How does this dream benefit not just me, but also the people around me? How does this desire ripple outward into my relationships, my community, my world? This is your win-win map. For example, if you dream of financial freedom, how does that allow you to support your family, contribute to causes you care about, or create beauty that inspires others? When your desires are framed as collective gains, your manifestation energy multiplies. Because you're ruled by aesthetics, your environment matters more than you realize. Chaos in your space creates chaos in your mind. So curate your surroundings. Place 2 objects in your workspace that symbolize balance, maybe 2 candles, 2 stones, or 2 framed images. These aren't just decorations, they're anchors, constant reminders that equilibrium is not only possible but always present. Each time you look at them, they pull you back into alignment. But here's where your challenge often lies: decisions. Libras are notorious for decision fatigue, for weighing options until you're paralyzed. That's why you need a trick. Flip a coin. Yes, really, the coin toss is not about obeying chance, it's about noticing your reaction in the split second the coin lands. Do you feel relief at the answer? Or resistance? That feeling tells you the truth your mind has been hiding. Follow the feeling, not the coin. Another powerful tool for you is the co-manifest pact. Libras thrive in partnership, and accountability fuels your follow-through. Choose a trusted friend and make a pact. You will both share your goals, check in regularly, and gently hold each other accountable. It's not about pressure, it's about support. A simple message, "Did you take your step today?" becomes a lifeline, keeping you aligned without guilt. Libra, manifestation is not about forcing balance after chaos has taken over. It's about weaving harmony into the process itself. Your relationships, your environment, your choices, all of these are threads. When you weave them with care, you don't just manifest a goal, you manifest a life that feels like art. That's why your affirmation is, I choose aligned connections and the universe chooses me back. Your power is in connection, and when your connections are aligned, your dreams are inevitable. Scorpio, October 23rd to November 21st. What if your intensity is the portal? Scorpio, you are the alchemist of the zodiac, the one who dives into darkness not to drown but to emerge transformed. You don't manifest the way others do. For you, manifestation isn't about light-hearted affirmations or cheerful vision boards. It's about depth, shadow, intensity. You manifest by confronting what others avoid. Your magic lives in your willingness to go where it's uncomfortable. That's why your intensity isn't a weakness, it's your doorway. To manifest your best life, choose a desire that scares you a little. Not the safe dream, not the easy wish, but the one that makes your pulse quicken. Maybe it's starting a business, maybe it's committing to love, maybe it's healing a wound you've carried for years. Fear is your compass. If it scares you but excites you, it's meant for you. Once you've chosen your desire, make a shadow list. Write down every fear, every pattern, every old story that could hold you back. Be brutally honest. Maybe it's, I always sabotage myself when things go well. Maybe it's, I'm afraid people will leave me if I succeed. Circle the loudest one, the one that feels like it owns you. That's the shadow you must face first. Now, design a tiny exposure. You don't have to conquer the whole fear at once. You only need to meet it at the edges. If your fear is rejection, have one honest conversation. If your fear is failure, make one brave ask. If your fear is abandonment, let one person see your vulnerability. Each tiny exposure chips away at the shadow's power, turning it from a monster into a mirror. Transformation for you often requires ritual. Write down what you're releasing, the fear, the pattern, the story. Then destroy it. Burn it safely, tear it to shreds, bury it. This act tells your subconscious, I am done carrying this. But don't stop there. Replace it with a pledge, something measurable. I will share my work publicly once a week, or, I will tell my partner one truth each day. Release and replace, that's the Scorpio cycle. Privacy is your strength, but isolation is your weakness. Remember this distinction. You don't need to tell the whole world your process. But you do need one confidant, one person who holds your truth with care. That person becomes your anchor, reminding you that you don't have to transform alone. Scorpio, manifestation for you is not about staying in the shallow end. It's about diving into the depths and trusting that what you bring back will change everything. That's why your affirmation is, I transmute pressure into purpose. You don't just handle intensity, you refine it, sculpt it, turn it into fuel. Your depth is not a detour. Your depth is your shortcut. And when you honor it, you manifest not just a life that looks good, but a life that feels true. Sagittarius, November 22nd to December 21st. What if optimism is a compass you can calibrate? Sagittarius, you are the seeker of the Zodiac, the archer who forever points arrows toward horizons others cannot even imagine. Optimism for you is not just a mood or an attitude, it's your North Star, the inner guidance system that tells you where to go, what to pursue, and when to leap. But here's the secret, optimism is not blind faith. It is not reckless hope. It is something you can tune, sharpen, and calibrate like an instrument until it always leads you to the right path. To manifest your best life, you must define a target that stretches you. Not something small, not something ordinary, but a desire that expands you beyond your current limits. Sagittarius energy thrives when it feels the thrill of growth. Maybe that target is a new skill you've always wanted to learn, one that feels just a little out of reach. Maybe it's a trip to a country you've never visited, where the language and culture challenge you to grow. Maybe it's a stretch goal in your career, something that makes you nervous but also wildly excited. The bigger the dream, the better the fire that burns inside you. But big dreams require structure, and that's where the quest calendar comes in. Create a daily micro-adventure. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It could be walking down a new street, reading a new article, writing a fresh paragraph of a story, trying a new recipe, or calling someone you wouldn't usually call. Each micro-adventure is a breadcrumb, a way of telling the universe, I am ready to explore, I am open to more. When you look back over 30 days of small adventures, you'll realize you've traveled farther than you imagined. Another essential Sagittarius practice is saying yes to serendipity. Once a week, allow life to surprise you. Say yes to an invitation you'd usually decline. Say yes to a chance encounter. Say yes to the strange idea that sparks in your mind. These small acts of surrender keep your optimism alive and remind you that the universe is always bigger, wilder, and more generous than your plans. Restlessness is your shadow. When it hits, don't fight it, guide it. Give it a map. Focus for 30 minutes with full intensity, then set yourself free to roam, wander, and explore. Structure your freedom. You'll find that your productivity increases when you respect your restless nature instead of trying to cage it. Feed your fire with learning. Sagittarius energy dies without growth, so make learning part of your manifestation ritual. One book a month, one podcast a week, one mentor or teacher whose wisdom you can absorb. Every new idea you encounter becomes fuel for your optimism, sharpening your compass, giving you more arrows for your quiver. Your affirmation is, I follow the spark and it leads to more. Because for you, manifestation isn't about staying in one place. It's about trusting the spark, chasing the spark, and watching how it always leads to expansion. Optimism, when calibrated, is not naive, it is the most reliable compass you'll ever own. And when you follow it, Sagittarius, you don't just manifest your best life, you inspire others to chase theirs. Capricorn, December 22nd to January 19th. What if discipline is devotion in work clothes? Capricorn, you are the mountain climber of the zodiac, the one who knows that greatness isn't built in a day, a week, or even a year. You understand something few others do. Discipline is not punishment, and structure is not confinement. Discipline is love turned into action. It is devotion to your dream, dressed in work clothes. When others chase shortcuts, you build foundations. When others burn out chasing highs, you stay steady, climbing step by step. And that's why you reach summits others can only dream of. To manifest your best life, you must first translate your dream into metrics. Dreams are beautiful, but Capricorn energy needs something measurable. If you want financial freedom, define what that number looks like. If you want career success, measure it in projects completed, clients served, or milestones hit. If you want better health, track it in minutes exercised, meals prepared, or hours slept. What can be counted can be crafted. When your dream has numbers attached, it transforms from a fantasy into a blueprint. Next, build your minimum viable routine. Not something overwhelming, not something you'll abandon in a week. Choose something short, strong, and daily, so small you can't talk yourself out of it. Maybe it's 10 minutes of writing every morning, 10 push-ups, 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of financial tracking. The key is that it happens every day, no matter what. This daily rhythm becomes the heartbeat of your manifestation. Capricorn energy thrives on structure, so schedule your success like a meeting you cannot miss. Put it on your calendar. Protect it with the same seriousness you would give to an important client call. Because the truth is, you are your most important client. And when you treat your dreams with that level of respect, the universe takes you seriously too. But here's the shift you must make: reward consistency, not drama. Capricorn, you can sometimes glorify the grind, the long hours, the exhaustion, the "look how hard I'm working." But manifestation doesn't care about drama. It cares about results. Reward yourself for consistency, for showing up day after day, for the quiet victories. Because in the end, it's not one dramatic sprint that gets you to the summit, it's 1,000 steady steps. When the mountain looks huge, don't panic. Don't stare at the peak. Stare at the next foothold. One step, one grip, one pull upward, that is all you need in the moment. The summit will come if you just keep climbing. Your affirmation is, I respect the climb, and the summit respects me. Because when you respect the process rewards you. Capricorn, your manifestation is not loud, it's not flashy, it's not always celebrated in the moment. But it is undeniable. Quiet grind, loud results. You don't just manifest, you build, brick by brick, until your best life stands tall like a mountain you created with your own hands. Aquarius, January 20th to February 18th. What if your weird is the strategy? Aquarius, you are the visionary of the zodiac, the rebel thinker who sees the future while everyone else is still clinging to the present. Your power lies in the things that make you different, the quirks that others might call strange, the ideas that seem too wild to be real. But here's the truth: the very things that make you feel like an outsider are the things that make you a trailblazer. Your weird isn't something to hide or tone down, it is your strategy, your secret ingredient, your ticket to manifesting a life no one else could design. To manifest your best life, begin by picking the unconventional version of your goal. Don't just ask, how do I build a business? Ask, how do I build a business that runs on values no one else has tried? Don't just say, I want a relationship. Ask, what if I built a partnership that rewrites the rules of what love looks like? Don't settle for the safe, the familiar, or the expected. You thrive when you lean into the uncharted. The stranger your version of the dream, the more alive you feel chasing it. But Aquarius energy can get lost in the clouds of big vision. That's why you need to prototype. Don't wait until the idea is perfect or the plan is flawless. Create a one-week experiment with clear rules and a curious mindset. If you dream of a new routine, test it for 7 days. If you want to write a book, commit to 1 page a day for a week. If you want to live differently, create a small-scale simulation. Your weirdness shines not in theory but in practice, and experiments allow you to practice without the weight of permanence. Community is your amplifier. Share your journey with your people, because your community is a circuit for your ideas. When you speak your experiments out loud, when you invite others into the process, your vision gains momentum. Don't underestimate the power of sharing even the smallest updates. A simple post, a short conversation, a casual share in a group chat, it all matters. Your manifestation isn't meant to happen in isolation. It's meant to flow through networks, through circuits, through people who light up when they hear your vision. But with all this outward energy, protecting your bandwidth is vital. You can't manifest if your mind is scattered by constant notifications, endless noise, and shallow distractions. Turn the notifications off. Protect your inner laboratory. Give your imagination the silence it needs to roam. Because when your mind is free from static, your innovation flows without interruption. Imagination is your most valuable currency, guard it fiercely. And when you feel alien, when you feel like you don't belong, that's your cue to build the room you wish existed. If you can't find the community you need, create it. Start the group, host the conversation, launch the project. You belong not because someone else makes space for you, but because you design the space yourself. That's how you transform alienation into belonging, by becoming the architect of the room where you and others like you can finally breathe. Your affirmation is, I innovate in public and belong by design. Because you don't just innovate in silence, you innovate where others can see it, touch it, and join it. And you don't wait for belonging to appear, you create it with your own hands. Aquarius, your weird is not a flaw, it's a strategy. And when you use it, you don't just manifest your best life, you manifest a future that makes life better for everyone. Pisces, February 19th to March 20th. What if imagination is evidence of what's possible? Pisces, you are the dreamer, the mystic, the poet of the zodiac. You live half in this world and half in the next, and while some may dismiss that as escapism, it is actually your greatest strength. Your imagination is not fantasy, it's a preview. When you see visions of what could be, you are glimpsing the seeds of reality before they take form. For you, manifestation begins not in action but in the sacred act of dreaming. And that dreaming is proof that what you desire already exists in potential. To manifest your best life, start with a 5-minute future scene. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let yourself drift into the movie of your best life. See yourself living it, hear the sounds, feel the textures, notice the colors. Is there laughter in the room? Is there sunlight pouring through a window? Are you standing on a beach, or sitting in a studio, or hugging someone you love? Watch it play out like a film only you can see, and don't just watch, feel it in your body. Because when you feel it, your subconscious begins to accept it as real. Now, anchor the vision. Write down one sentence from your future self. Maybe it's, I am living in peace. Maybe it's, I create beauty that changes lives. Maybe it's, I am safe, loved, and free. Then turn that sentence into a gentle cue. Set it as the background on your lock screen, tape it to your mirror, write it on a sticky note in your wallet. This small anchor reminds you daily that your imagination is not random, it is direction. Because you are a water sign, ritual with water strengthens your manifestations. Use tea, baths, showers, ocean swims, even standing in the rain. As you pour water, as you step into it, as you let it run over you, set an intention. With this water, I invite clarity. Or, with this water, I release fear. Water cleanses what doesn't serve you, and because you are attuned to symbolism, you feel the shift not just in your mind but in your soul. Art is another key to your process. Don't just think about your goals, make them felt. Create a painting, write a poem, craft a playlist, design a collage that embodies your dream. Manifestation for Pisces is not about rigid logic, it's about emotional resonance. When you turn your vision into art, you make it real not just for your mind but for your heart. And the heart is what powers your intuition. Pisces, your biggest challenge is often action. You can dream forever, but dreams alone won't build the bridge. That's why your mantra must be, dream softly, act steadily. Don't pressure yourself to leap all at once. Take gentle, consistent steps. Write one page, make one call, save $1, share one piece of your work. Each small action is the earthbound expression of your ocean of dreams. Your affirmation is, my intuition leads, my actions follow. Because your intuition is never wrong, it knows the direction before logic can explain it. And when you trust it enough to act, even softly, even slowly, you manifest the life your soul has already seen. Pisces, your imagination is not an escape, it is evidence of possibility. And when you honor it with steady action, you transform your visions into a reality more beautiful than even your wildest dreams. Before we wrap, a quick universal truth: clarity attracts, clutter distracts. So pick one sign-specific move, do it today, and let momentum do what magic promises. Before we close this journey through the zodiac, pause for just a moment and let this truth sink in. Clarity is magnetic, while clutter is a thief. The clearer you are, the more the universe leans in to listen. The messier, noisier, and more distracted you are, the harder it becomes to hear your own voice, let alone the guidance that's waiting for you. Clarity doesn't mean having your whole 5-year plan sketched out, it doesn't mean knowing every step in advance. It means knowing what matters right now, today, in this very moment. When you are clear on that, life has a way of moving mountains for you. So here is your invitation. Choose one move. Not 12, not 20, not an overwhelming list that drowns your energy before you even begin. One move, something specific to your sign, something we've uncovered together in this journey. If you're an Aries, maybe it's sending that bold email. If you're a Taurus, maybe it's lighting that candle and creating the sensory anchor for your abundance. If you're a Gemini, maybe it's recording one voice note of your vision. Whatever it is, choose one and do it today. The act itself becomes your signal to the universe that you are serious, that you are ready, that you are open. And here's where the magic really begins: momentum. The first step always feels small, almost laughably so. But once you take it, momentum begins to build, and momentum is one of the most powerful forms of magic you will ever experience. You take one step, the universe opens the next door. You take another, and suddenly synchronicities appear, opportunities align, people arrive at the right time. What once looked impossible begins to unfold naturally. That is the quiet promise of magic, it meets momentum halfway. Do not underestimate the power of starting today. You don't need to wait for the next full moon, the perfect planner, or a sign written in the stars. The sign is already here. It's you, listening, feeling, deciding. That clarity you create in this moment will ripple outward, clearing space in your mind, your body, your environment. And when the clutter falls away, even just a little, you'll notice the energy around you start to shift. You'll breathe easier, you'll think sharper, you'll feel lighter. That is the magnetic pull of clarity. It draws in what you desire because nothing is blocking the signal anymore. So before this video ends, ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do today, for my sign, for my path, for my dream? And then, do it. Let the doing become the spark, and let momentum do what magic always promises it will. If this helped you align your stars with your steps, tap like, hit subscribe, and drop your sign plus your one action in the comments. Want more? Watch the next video in this series and grab the links in the description for daily prompts and socials. Your best life is already calling. Are you picking up? If this journey has helped you connect the dots between the stars above and the steps beneath your feet, let's not stop here. Tap that like button. It tells me this message found you at the right time. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what comes next, because every week we're building on these truths and finding new ways to bring astrology down from the heavens and into your daily life. And don't just watch in silence, make this a conversation. Drop your zodiac sign in the comments and tell me the one action you're committing to today. It could be tiny, it could be bold, but saying it out loud makes it real, and sharing it invites others to cheer you on. If you're hungry for more, the next video in this series is waiting for you. It's the natural next step in your path. And in the description, you'll find links for daily prompts, for resources, for the socials where the conversation keeps going long after this video ends. Think of those links as little portals, each one a doorway into a deeper practice, a stronger habit, a clearer vision. Because here's the truth, your best life isn't far away. It isn't some distant dream reserved for the lucky few. It's already calling, whispering, reaching out to you in ways big and small. The only question is, are you picking up?